Live from our 7 Tasmania studios, your nightly news with Kim Miller begins now.
Good evening, everyone. First tonight, 3 people, including a 2-year-old boy, have been taken to hospital following a 2-car collision near Hobart. Police describe the scene as chaotic as they continue to investigate the cause of the crash.
Debris scattered along this busy road. Emergency services combing through the site of a serious crash north of Hobart.
And the scene is particularly chaotic and the vehicles are severely damaged.
The 2 vehicles colliding on Boyer Road at Dromedary around midday.
There was a single male driver in the black BMW and a single female driver of the red Toyota Camry with a young 2-year-old child.
The road closed for several hours, both drivers trapped in their cars.
Obviously the massive amount of paramedics on the scene and all the occupants have been taken to the Royal Hobart Hospital, have been treated at the scene by Tas Ambulance.
A 29-year-old New Norfolk man and a 30-year-old Bridgewater woman in a serious but stable condition. Her 2-year-old son escaping without physical injuries. Police are still investigating the cause of the crash, but with rain continuing throughout the day, they say it's a timely reminder for people to make sure they're driving to the conditions.
Please slow down, please drive to both the road and weather conditions. If it's raining and it's raining heavily and there's a particularly deluge of rain, if you don't have to go somewhere, please assess that trip and stay at home.
A traumatic scene just 3 days before Christmas. Meg Sides, 7 Tasmania News.
And that wasn't the only crash on our roads today, as motorists deal with wet conditions. Police have been kept busy at all corners of Tasmania, responding to dozens of incidents. For more on this, we're joined live by our reporter Garth Burley. Good evening, Garth. Now, how many crashes were authorities forced to attend today?
Well, late this afternoon, it was more than 30, Kim. Definitely a logistical challenge for police. Only, as you said before, only 3 days before Christmas. This car went up a bank in Launceston and flipped on its side spectacularly, while smashes on both the Bass and Midland Highway reduced traffic to 1 lane. In most cases, the incidents were minor, but it has renewed police calls, as we just heard, to drive to the weather conditions, especially with traffic ramping up over the festive period. It comes after a second consecutive day of widespread rainfall across the state. The Weather Bureau says the area that saw the most falls was the north and northeast.
The highest rainfall amount has been 110 millimetres at Grey, but broadly about this northeastern area we've seen widespread falls of around 50 to 70 millimetres.
The low band system is expected to pass by tomorrow, and experts say, Kim, that it will clear in time for Christmas.
Okay, thank you very much, Garth Burley. A new campaign is encouraging Tasmanians to holiday at home and support local hospitality businesses. Border closures with Sydney have again demonstrated how uncertain the industry's future is, with more and more flights cancelled from the mainland.
A plan to cook up more interest in Tasmania.
We take you to small producers, we show you the produce that they've got. At the end of the tour, our first-class chefs then cook for you, and that is the unique experience that we've actually got.
Unearthed Tours are part of the Eat It Tassie campaign and looking to get locals supporting producers and hospitality businesses.
We've seen what's happening in New South Wales at the moment. We realise that the tourism industry and the hospitality industry has been under such pressure from COVID.
We understand that it's still going to be a challenge for a lot of Australian-based people, mainland Australian-based people to come to Tasmania, but we want Tasmanian people to come to the northwest coast and really look at what we've got here.
The whole industry is looking for home support.
We're encouraging Tasmanians to grab onto the opportunity to holiday at home and enjoy our beautiful state.
Border closures to Sydney have thrust many into stormy waters, though the Spirit of Tasmania bookings remain relatively unscathed.
They've been able to quickly resell the same spots because of the waiting list. Such was the demand from other states already.
But the number of flights coming into the state is falling.
We were running 5 or 6 flights inbound from Sydney every day, obviously during a peak time, and that's starting to lower now to 3 or 4, and I expect that to be down to 1 or 2 within a week if these restrictions stay in place.
Flight cancellations are expected to prolong the recovery of airports around the state, and more will come too. The path to normal won't be a straight one.
To be honest, this was expected somewhere. Until we get a vaccine, I guess we'll see more of these and we just have to deal with it.
However, the Christmas period has still brought an increase in air traffic. Thursday will see 34 flights arrive or depart in Launceston, while Hobart's arrivals hall is also busy. Reunions coming at the end of a long year for all.
Haven't seen my 3-year-old grandson for 18 months and haven't seen the newborn grandson for 11 months.
Josh Duggan, 7 Tasmania News.
Meanwhile, mental health services are urging the public to reach out and stay connected over Christmas following the difficult year. With the pandemic placing extra pressure on Tasmania's most vulnerable, City Mission says it's helping more people than ever.
A safe haven surrounded by festive decorations, as a program to help those on the streets marks its 1-year anniversary, launching in Hobart just before the COVID-19 pandemic hit Tasmania.
Other states had to go to things like quarantine hotels for the homeless, which didn't really work particularly well. So the timing was quite apt. I guess the unfortunate thing is that we do have so many people who are on the streets who did need a program like this.
The influx of people in need leading to other safe space spots opening in Launceston and Burnie, overall helping 231 people, with nearly half now in permanent housing.
We've been able to help them reconnect with family or move back into housing very quickly, so that's avoided someone becoming long-term homeless.
But it's also clearly demonstrated the need for a program that reaches out to those who are sleeping rough, doing it tough, and to work with them to connect them with the services that they need to get back on track.
Those services ramping up their support over Christmas, with the public urged to check up on friends and family struggling with their mental health after a tough year.
What we've been impacted by over the last 6 to 8 months certainly is going to put a big dampener on that. So trying to stay as connected as you can. We don't want isolation to become a big issue for people to get out of the house and make phone calls.
But if no one is around, there is always someone to talk to.
There are no rules about picking up the phone and calling us. It doesn't matter how old you are or what your issue is or how small it might seem. Please pick up the phone and call us because we are there for you.
Ruby Kamane, 7 Tasmania News.
An $80 million hotel and hospitality school at Kangaroo Bay could still go ahead. In a special meeting last night, which was originally meant to be private, Clarence City Council voted to backflip on a previous decision, now granting a 2-year extension for the controversial project. Mayor Doug Chipman said it's a consequence of council not reaching a way forward when it first considered the request in October, now needing to act quickly to avoid an ongoing breach of contract. A woman accused of bashing, then robbing an elderly Longford man has pleaded not guilty to a string of charges. Police claim Alicia Prentice was armed with an iron bar when she entered the 70-year-old's home in October, stealing cash, bank cards and cigarettes. Her matters will be heard in the Launceston Supreme Court next year. A new vending machine dispensing free sanitary products for those in need has been installed in Hobart. A second Dignity vending machine is now up and running in the Franklin Square public toilets, ensuring all women have equal access to essential items.
They're accessible for anybody in need or anybody that's just caught in the act at that moment. They can come in and they dispense every 10 minutes.
If this is something that works well here, of course, we'd like to roll it out further.
Share the Dignity will now turn its attention to Tasmanian schools, soon meeting with the Education Department in a bid to make the products accessible to students. Tasmania's learner drivers now have access to 2 free driving lessons. The state government is bankrolling a 1-hour lesson for learners on top of a federal government scheme also offering an hour-long lesson. Road safety advocates hope it will cut down the number of crashes here.
Crash risk, once a learner driver gets their P-plates, goes up 20 to 30 times.
And a simple thing every Tasmanian can do to make our roads safer, and that is to know the road rules and abide by them.
35 people have died on the state's roads this year to date. Tonight, Premier Peter Gutwein has a special Christmas message to share with Tasmanians as we finish a year dominated by the coronavirus crisis. Let's take a listen now to his address.
Hello everyone. This year delivered challenges unimaginable only 12 months ago. And I want to thank you and your family for doing the right thing and following the COVID safe rules to keep Tasmania safe during this past year. Together, we've all supported each other, and we've supported our local businesses when it mattered more than ever. We have explored our own backyard, seeing more and staying longer locally, and we found new ways to work, to conduct business, and to stay connected with new perspectives and new learnings. I've seen so much kindness, compassion and resilience from people right across our state. In our most challenging time, we stood together with a common humanity, and we rose to that challenge. And has put our state in the strongest position possible to recover and rebuild. The events in New South Wales, together with the cancellation of the iconic Sydney to Hobart yacht race, are a stark reminder that we continue to live in challenging times. However, the impact of a second wave would have been far more damaging to the health of Tasmanians and to our economy, and we will not risk that. I truly believe Tasmania, with its reputation of being a safe state which embraces innovation and ingenuity, will continue to rise to these challenges and will continue to be seen as one of the best places to live and to do business in the world. There is no doubt in my mind that our best days are ahead of us. To all Tasmanians, words simply cannot express my sincere thanks for the efforts made this year. I've never been more proud to be Tasmanian. Please stay safe and remember to continue to follow the COVID-safe rules for family gatherings and events to ensure we can all continue to keep on top of COVID. On behalf of your government and from my family to yours, please enjoy the festive season, stay safe, and may the new year be filled with hope and joy.
Well, in what's perhaps a reflection of the year that has been, not only will Colony 47's Christmas lunch be delivered to the door, demand for meals is also on the rise. Although there's plenty of reasons to be pessimistic about this COVID Christmas, Good Samaritans are determined to help those in need.
This young fella had the right idea.
Keep coming, mate, you're all right.
If only we could have all hidden from 2020. But the reality is more Tasmanians are in need this Christmas. Thank goodness for the good people who have stepped up to help.
I didn't grow up in a privileged home, and I think that having this kind of support on Christmas Day for families and for children to be able to get their gifts is wonderful.
Karen Brooks is a contributor to Colony 47's Volunteer Corps. In fact, so many Tasmanians wanted to help, Colony says it doesn't need any more hands on deck.
Every year we're actually astonished by the amount of volunteers in our community that reach out, and we are oversubscribed again this year, which just shows you that the people of Tasmania are so giving and so helpful.
370 guests would normally pack into the annual lunch. This year, 550 people have signed up to have a meal delivered instead, and Colony's bracing for as many as 700 by Christmas. That's in addition to the 1,200 presents delivered today.
Some of the children that will be receiving the presents, it is their only present that they'll be receiving on Christmas Day.
How valuable a gift like that is. Tom Johnson, 7 Tasmania News.
A Launceston church has today notched an impressive milestone, celebrating its 180th birthday. The City Baptist Church was founded in 1840 and the parish spent time in a number of locations before settling on its current Frederick Street home in the 1980s. The pastor says its creation paved the way for more of its kind.
It's very significant. It's not just for us, it's really all Baptists in Launceston, because there are now 5 Baptist churches in Launceston.
Holds a Korean, Nepali and traditional service each week.
The crew of high-profile Tasmanian yacht Alive is in quarantine and waiting to hear if it will be able to compete in the Launceston to Hobart. Crew members left New South Wales before the border lockdown came into effect, but only arrived in Tasmania when restrictions had escalated. Authorities are looking into their case to see if it is necessary to quarantine. Alive has been rushed back to the state after the Sydney Hobart was shelved.
Good evening. Strawn the warmest today with 23 degrees, Hobart 17, Launceston and Devonport 18, Burnie a top of 19. All temperatures across the state below average with the exception of the west coast. Bushy Park, Friendly Beaches and Flinders Island 18, King Island, Low Head and St Helens 17, Lyawini a top of 12. Now here's a look at the overcast conditions that prevailed over the state today. We've of course had Luke from the Bureau telling us about all that rain across the east coast, including that heavy downpour at Grey. We also have a northwest cloud band over much of the country. That's feeding into that low pressure system over Bass Strait. Lower level cloud is being pushed onto coastlines by onshore winds over South and Western Australia. Tomorrow a high extends a ridge across most of the south of the country as a cold front moves over and beyond Tasmania in a southwesterly airstream. And those winds up to 20 to 30 knots over northern and southern waters, west to southwesterlies over the lakes to 15 knots. A strong wind warning has been issued for waters between Stanley and Eddystone Point and over the lower east from Wineglass Bay to South East Cape. And we have the flood warnings as well. A moderate flood warning for the South Esk River, a minor flood warning for the North Esk, a flood watch for the catchments in the north, northeast, east and Furneaux Island group. So a bit of water coming down those catchments after the recent rain. Shower or two for Hobart and 21 tomorrow, 18 for Geefston. Still a shower about Bothwell, 18 the maximum as well. 24 for Launceston, a possible shower but mostly fine. Cloudy for Devonport, 21 and 23 the top for Cressy. Burnie expecting 21 and partly cloudy. Showers for Strawn, 17 the maximum, 18 the top for Curry. And for St Helens, 20 with showers developing, a shower or two for Swansea, 21 the top, 21 also for Orford. UV sliding up into the extreme zone at 11. On Thursday, showers over the west, south and northeast, but fine elsewhere. Christmas Day and fine and partly cloudy around the state. Launceston 21 degrees, the other centres in the high teens. And on Boxing Day, another cloudy day with a possible shower over Burnie and the northeast of the state. Very hot and sunny in Perth tomorrow. Cloud clearing from Adelaide, an early shower forecast for Melbourne. Sunny and 25 in Sydney. Brisbane fine as well, a possible storm in Darwin. Cloudy, 16 in Hobart, 16 in Launceston, Devonport currently 16 as well. And we go to the mailbag again, and thank you very much Sally Ann from Sandy Bay, who sent in a nice Christmas card for us, Kim, wishing you and I the best for the festive season. All she wants for Christmas, by the way, is to meet Tom Johnson, our sports reader. You won't be disappointed, Sally. He's of high virtue and impeccable young man. Sally's little joke for you, Kim. What nationality is Santa Claus? Well, apparently he's North Polish.
Okay, could be. Thank you very much, Murph. And just got a little bit of dandruff there just on the tie. That's your news for now. I'll be back later with updates. Thanks for joining us this evening and good night.